And I'd like to welcome you all to our Tuesday 1:30 p.m. session today. We'll be having a conversation with the Legal Counsel for the Elderly. We'll be sharing more information about the many different benefits for DC seniors. I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see us or see the screen, please let us know in the chat. I always recommend that you have some notes next to you so you can write down some information. And then make sure your TVs and cell phones are silenced to give others, and most importantly yourselves, the most immersive experience. Lisa, Samora, and Ty, if you could introduce yourselves and what you'll be covering today, we would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on to our session.
Hi, my name is Samora Bazil, and I will be presenting about some of the services that our self-help office offers. And I will let Lisa and Robin speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Brown, and I'm going to present our life planning documents section, which talks about wills and powers of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, and financial powers of attorney.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Robin Griffin, and I'm going to share information with you about public benefits, everything from Social Security, SNAP, LAHEAP, and more.
What's up, everyone? My name is Ty Martin. I'm going to be talking to you all about our Veterans Advocacy Project, and we'll get into it real soon.
Thank you all so much. So whoever would like to start, you can share your screen. And then at the end, again, if you all have a question for each presenter, don't forget to raise your hand in Zoom, and we'll be sure to call on you to ask your question. So thank you so much.
Great. Alex, would you mind to share the PowerPoint and advance it for us?
Okay, is everyone using the same PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, if you do that, you'll have to let me know when to move the slide.
Sure.
Are you able to, someone able to share it on their screens as well? Just because if I have to step out for a minute or so, I may not be able to switch it.
That's fine, Robin. I have it pulled up. I can share it if I have sharing capabilities. Thank you.
Yep, I really would appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. 1 second.
Thank you so much, Samora. We see it. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for advancing the slides, Samora. Next slide. All right, so to give you all a little bit of information about us, at Legal Counsel for the Elderly, we champion the dignity and rights of Washington, D.C. elders by providing free legal and social work services to those in need. Our mission is to empower, defend, and protect vulnerable seniors. And we've been doing this work for almost 40 years. Today, we're going to talk to you about the work that we've been doing. The work includes helping with housing, economic security. Next slide, some more. We also help with self-determination, health and safety, and advocacy at LCE. Okay, and your presenters today are from the LCE Economic and Healthcare Security Practice, where we help seniors to receive the income, benefits, and services to which they are entitled. And this is with the means of helping them to live independently in their community. All right, so today you're going to learn about the services we provide to homebound seniors, veterans benefits, public benefits, estate planning, and the brief services we provide through our self-help office. All right, so I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Okay. All right. I am the attorney who works with seniors who are homebound, which means they either live in their homes and receive medical services or just assistance in their home, or they live in a nursing home or an assisted living facility. Project Help, which is the project that we call the I'm sorry, the project that helps the homebound seniors, we call it Project Help. And we are able to help individuals with both self-determination, with life planning documents, but also with public benefits issues as well. Examples, but today I'm going to be specifically talking about life planning documents. And this chart here shows an example of legal tools for decision-making purposes, which means that individuals can decide how they want someone to assist them if they need it. And that would include becoming a power of attorney agent or having a supported decision-making role, or being their representative payee, or if the individual is incapacitated, they might have a court-appointed guardian or conservator. Okay, I'm going to start by talking about financial powers of attorney. A financial power of attorney, which we also call a durable power of attorney, enables the individual to appoint someone to handle their financial and also legal issues for them. We refer to a durable power of attorney because the individual, the document will survive an individual's incapacity. So an individual gets a power of attorney at one point and then later becomes incapacitated, the document survives. The reason why people get financial powers of attorney include to avoid guardianships. A guardianship is a more restricted vehicle, and it usually takes place after an individual loses their capacity. But a financial power of attorney allows the individual themselves to appoint who they want to help them with matters. The power of attorney also allows someone to specify what types of things they want help with. So somebody might want assistance only with their real property. They might need assistance with selling a home or land, but they may not want assistance with banking issues. Okay, so the power of attorney is very, very flexible. It allows you to decide just how broad or how limited you want the instrument to be. And that's what I talked about just now, types of powers of attorney, either general or limited. Okay. Next slide. Thank you. And when does a financial power of attorney become effective? So an individual who's getting a financial power of attorney can decide to make it effective immediately upon signing the document, or they can decide that it will be effective only if they, if and when they become incapacitated. So if you get a power of attorney, it doesn't mean that your agent can step right in and start helping you at that point if you decide it's going to be a springing document. If that's the case, then generally two doctors will have to state that you are incapacitated. And someone might have questions about when it might be a good idea to make the document effective immediately. And when springing, that's an issue that comes up a lot, and there are different trends about when to, which way to go regarding that. But right now, I would say that people make it effective immediately when they don't want their agent to have to go through that process of having to prove that the individual is incapacitated. Another thing to keep in mind is that a power of attorney becomes void once a person dies. Okay, so it's effective only during the individual's lifetime. And also that the power of attorney can be changed or revoked at any time, as long as the individual has capacity. They have to revoke or change the document in writing, but they have the ability to do that. So sometimes somebody will think that if you get a power of attorney, that means that their agent is locked in. They can't decide on a different person, or that person will always, have this role. But in fact, as I mentioned, it can be changed. For financial power of attorney, it must be in writing. And DC requires that that the document be signed in front of a notary. Generally, when we help individuals with a power of attorney, we will have 2 witnesses as well. So that's recommended but not required. Next slide. So some other things to consider when an individual's deciding about getting a power of attorney is that there's DC has a real property clause, which means that you need to have in that document specifically, if you want the agent to be able to help with real property, then you should specify that. Also, sometimes people are interested in whether or not they can have more than one person be their agent. So if you have multiple children, you might want to have both of them be your agents, and you can do that. We usually recommend that instead that you have a backup agent. So you appoint one person, and then if that person isn't able to, then another person can step in. You can really have as many as you want. And again, you can have joint agents, but if you just think about whether the individuals will be able to easily work together, and whether there's a good reason to have co-agents. Also, if an individual cannot sign, they can sign with an X. They can also have a designated person sign for them. As you may know, in federal government, they will often call the agent, well, they do call the agents a representative payee instead of a financial power of attorney agent. So if you have federal benefits like Social Security, and you need to have someone assist you, then you'll need to utilize their documents to get a representative payee. And then also the VA has their own forms. So if someone is working with the VA and they need to have an agent, they'll have to use the VA's financial power of attorney forms. Next slide. Okay, so that is all that I'm going to say about financial powers of attorney. I am going to move on to healthcare powers of attorney. If you have any questions regarding financial powers of attorney and you want to ask it now, you can do that, or you can wait until I finish talking about healthcare powers of attorney and wills.
Thank you, Lisa, for that. No question, no hands up so far.
Thank you. All right, so a financial healthcare power of attorney is very much like the financial power of attorney. There are a couple differences, so I'm just going to go over that. The healthcare power of attorney, like the financial, allows an individual to appoint a trusted person to make medical decisions for them. This would only come up when the individual is unable to make their own decisions. So in DC, healthcare power of attorney is springing only which means that if the individual is able to make their own decisions, they will always be the one who does it. Only if they become incapacitated will their healthcare power of attorney agent be able to make decisions for them. The healthcare power of attorney is also only effective while the individual is alive. So it's void once they die. And it too can be changed or revoked in writing. The requirements for healthcare power of attorney is that it must be in writing and it must be signed in the presence of 2 witnesses. So there's a little difference with the financial power of attorney, which must be notarized. For healthcare power of attorney in DC, it must be signed in the presence of 2 witnesses. And we recommend a notary, and we usually use a notary for healthcare powers of attorney, but it is not required. A part of the healthcare power of attorney is what we call the living will or advanced healthcare directive. And the purpose of the advanced healthcare directive is to allow you, the medical professionals, to know your wishes if you get to a point of what we call end of life. So if you have an incurable disease or progressive functional deterioration due to advanced dementia or some other form of mental decline. But now we're talking about extreme here in this case, or if the individual is in a persistent vegetative state, in a coma. So if you're in that situation, this part of the medical power of attorney allows you to specify what you want to happen. And in some cases, people want to have all life prolonging treatment that's available. So that's an option. And you can say, I just want to continue to receive treatment until I expire. You could also say, I want to only receive pain medication in that circumstance. Or I want to receive pain medication and nutrition. And in some instances, people who get a medical power of attorney would prefer for their medical agent to make that decision. So they may not decide to let their medical professionals know in advance what their wishes are. And the other part of that advanced healthcare directive is that you can specify your preference regarding organ donation. You can either not mention organ donation at all. You can state specifically, I'm not interested in organ donation, or that you do want your organs to be donated for transplantation purposes or for medical research, or both. Next slide. The medical orders for scope of treatment is another document that allows you to specify what medical treatment you want. And it's a more specific document than the medical power of attorney. It is also made in conjunction with your doctor. It can, like a medical power of attorney, be changed. It can be included with your life planning document, so attached to your healthcare power of attorney. Next slide. Okay, and so that covers both the financial and the healthcare documents that we offer. All right, next I'm going to talk about the last will and testament. So, as you know, a last will and testament is the document that you use to provide real and personal property to whomever you like. So, it allows you to specify how you want things to be distributed amongst your loved ones or your friends, or even to charities, whoever, as I said, whoever you choose. And in that document, you will acknowledge who your children are. That's a way for everyone to know that you are aware of who your heirs are. It doesn't say, who your beneficiaries are going to be, but you acknowledge who your heirs are. You'll also appoint a personal representative, and that's going to be the person who will make sure that what you state in your will, what you want to happen, is carried out. So again, a responsible person who's going to follow your wishes. A will can be revoked or changed anytime before death. And a will is the document that once the individual dies, it's going to be filed with the probate court. And it begins, that process of filing the will begins the probate process. The will, again, must be in writing, and it must be signed by 2 witnesses. There's also some specific language required in a will. One thing that you need to state is that you have capacity, you understand what you're doing at the time that you create the will. Next slide. So there are many reasons people decide to create a will. Generally, they have some specific wishes regarding their possessions. They want to make sure that they go to particular individuals. Also, people might want to provide for a disabled child, or they want to make sure that their particular charity or particular friend gets the distributions that they have in mind. With regards to real property, one of the things that we offer and will help with is a transfer on death deed. The transfer on death deed allows someone who owns property, real property, a house or land, to transfer that property to a beneficiary upon death. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a few slides, but that is that's a document that is allowed, and a process that's allowed in DC, but not in every state. And it's very powerful. And what it means is that you can pass on your property to an individual upon your death, which means they have no rights before your death, but they can inherit it upon your death without having to have that property go through the probate process. If someone does not have a will, then the estate is, I see your question, and I will answer your question shortly. If someone doesn't have a will, then their estate will follow state law upon their death. And so that means that if they have a spouse when they die, regardless of what the individual's wishes are, their spouse will most likely inherit a portion or all of their estate, depending on their family situation. The other thing to keep in mind is that all children are viewed the same by DC law. And so as long as each person can prove that they are a child of the deceased individual, then they will be treated the same by intestate law. Well, this is the state law that comes into play if you die without a will. Okay, let me stop here and answer some of the questions that you have.
Hi, Ms. Lisa. Did you have some additional slides for your presentation?
I do.
Okay, that's fine. At this point, if you all have a question for Lisa, please raise your hand or a comment. I know it. Thank you so much for the information. We've touched on all of these topics, wills, advance directives, and power of attorneys throughout the years, but it's nice just to have one presentation that kind of, dabbled a little in a lot of different topics. And I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Let me answer Ms. Irvin's question
Yes.
first, and then I see
So I see so I'll be able to assist with the questions, Lisa, because I can see the order that they were raised.
Okay.
So, yeah, first up is Anne. Hey, Anne, you have a question or comment for Lisa about anything she's covered so far?
Hi, Lisa. I'm Ann Dennis, the advisory counsel for Ward 7 for legal counsel. Document that you I have all this other stuff, but I don't have that document that you said that should be signed by the doctor, and I wasn't quite clear on that.
Okay. So that document it is one that's not actually a part of, I would say, most people's plan.
Uh-huh.
So it is one where if you might want to find one, look online and find a document, and you can see how very specific it is. And if you have a healthcare power of attorney, you don't necessarily need that document. But once you review it, you can see, well, my healthcare power of attorney has some generality to it. So first, it allows this person to make decisions for me, and it gives me the opportunity to say what I want if I'm at the end of life. But maybe there's some decisions that you want to make ahead of time that aren't covered by your healthcare power of attorney. So that's when you would use that document. So it's not a must for your plan, for your life planning documents, but you can look and see just how specific it is and if you think it's necessary.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Anne. Really appreciate it. Just keep in mind, we're about halfway through, so we have about half an hour left. So just for us to keep in mind, thank you so much. Next up is Louise. Hi, Louise. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You have a question or a comment for Lisa?
Yeah, I want to ask her about a trust. Do you need a will if you have a trust?
Okay, well, let me say this first. Legal counsel for the elderly doesn't help with trust, but I do happen to know, about trust. And what I'll say is if you have a trust, you'll also have a will that goes along with it. But your distributions, that information that, like if you just had a will, which includes your beneficiaries, and includes who you want to make sure that your things in your will take place, the executor, those things will be in your trust. So you'll have a trustee and you'll have your distributions listed in your trust. And the will is just a document that allows the court to know that you have a trust, and it's used in the event that you don't put some assets in your trust. It tells the court that you have a trust. So if you have a trust, you're going to most likely have a will also, but the will won't be the powerful document there. It'll be the trust.
Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, when they sign the trust, you don't have to worry about when they say their commission expires, whatever date. It's okay the way it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Okay. Because the notaries, they update their commission. So yes, that's fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Louise, for your questions. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And our last hand up for now is Yvonne. Hey, Yvonne, how are you doing today?
Call from.
Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Yes, I know Lisa has referenced the probate process a couple of times, and I guess I'm not clear on exactly what we mean by the probate process. And I also wanted to know, I have a will written I've not had it witnessed by two persons or had it notarized. I'm wondering, or filed, is it necessary that a will be filed with the recorder of deeds or any particular government agency, or if you just have something written out and it's understood by your beneficiaries or your heirs, do you need to go through that legal process?
Okay.
So there are two questions I'd like to have clarified, if you will. Thank you.
And since we're running late on time, I'm going to answer them rather a little quickly. One, in DC, you can't file a will before death yet at this time. There may be some change in that in the future. So you just need to hold on to your original will and make sure someone knows where it is. You should get it, witnessed, so if I were you, I would have two witnesses sign your will, okay? And with regards to probate, that is the process where the court will get assets taken out of your name and put them in the name of your estate so that your executor can now have access to your assets. So for instance, if you die, you have a bank account in your name, the court now needs to get that account out of you, have it come out of your name, put in the name of your estate, and now your executor can have access and do what needs to be done according to your will.
Well, so, I have indicated to my banking institution, that I want payable upon death, POD. So does that nullify any necessary, any other additional steps? I've made it known to whom I want my finances to go to.
Yes, that's a good point. And so in that case, that account won't need to go through the probate process. It's beneficiary designated. So I'm not going to finish the rest of my presentation, but one part that you just brought up, which is very important, is that another way of avoiding probate is to have your accounts have a beneficiary designation on them, like a bank account, the one that you just mentioned. If you have a pay on death beneficiary, that avoids probate. Or if you use a transfer on death deed, as I mentioned, that avoids probate as well. Life insurance policies that have beneficiaries avoid probate.
Thank you so much
for your attention. Yes, and I'm going to pass it on to the next presenter.
Thank you so much, Lisa, again, for talking about these things. They're very important. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So who's next?
So Ty is going to speak next, and they're going to talk about veterans advocacy.
Hello, can you hear
me? Thank you, Ty. Yeah, we can hear you. Again, if you all have a question for Ty, please don't forget to raise your hand in Zoom as you did before. Thank you so much.
Excellent. So we are running short on time. I'm gonna move right through this. And please, we're gonna save our questions to the end of this part of the presentation. All right, so the Veteran Advocacy Project, also known as VAP, we assist both veterans as well as surviving spouses of veterans with obtaining various benefits, including public benefits, which we will discuss a little bit later. So we assist clients regardless of the type of discharge they have. So that means that we can assist clients with honorable discharges as well as bad conduct discharges. The veteran-specific benefits that we assist with include service-connected disability compensation, which is a benefit paid to veterans who have a current illness or injury that was incurred or was aggravated while serving on active duty and who were discharged under other than dishonorable conditions. The claims we assist with include MST, PTSD, and TDIU claims. Additionally, we help with non-service connected pension. So this includes, including with aid and attendance, which is a benefit paid to wartime veterans with limited income who have sufficient length of service and who are age 65 or older, or have a permanent and total non-service connected disability. Additionally, we help with dependency and indemnity compensation claims. That is a tax-free monetary benefit paid to surviving spouses, children, or parents of a service member who died in the line of duty, or the survivor of a veteran who died from a service-related injury or illness. Additionally, we help with surviving spouse pension, which is a tax-free benefit payable to low-income, unremarried surviving spouses of a deceased veteran with wartime service. So that's also very specific. You have to be low income, unremarried, and a surviving spouse of a deceased veteran with wartime service. Additionally, we help with VA benefits or medical debt or overpayments. We assist with filing to dispute the debt, lower the debt amount, or to get a payment plan. Samora, you can go to like the next 2 slides. Yeah, I just spoke about that. Next slide. Next slide. All right. So we also help with pre-need applications for VA burial benefits. So this is so you obtain approval prior to the veteran's passing for burial in a VA national cemetery with a headstone, a burial flag, and other burial expenses. So we assist clients in obtaining the necessary records, including their official military personnel file, service treatment records, their claims file, witness statements, current medical records, etc. We will review the claim and see how we can assist in developing it, even if the VA may have previously denied the claim for lack of evidence. We will assist from the initial application through the BVA, the Board of Veteran Appeals process, including supplemental claims and higher level review claims. We can take the case at any stage. All right. I'm done, y'all. I don't see any hands. Great. Let's move on.
Thank you so much, Ty. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
If you both don't mind, if someone else may have a question about something you covered today, Lisa, do you mind putting your email in the chat? And then same thing for you, Ty. Just if you would like to put your emails in the chat so seniors can
Absolutely.
also. I do see we have Ms. Doris. Okay. I see you had your hand up, but I thought you had a question for Ty. But Ty and Lisa, if you could put your emails in the chat, we'd really appreciate that. Thank you. This is anything to do with veterans. Thank you. Thank you, Ty, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. And we'll also share our contact information for our legal hotline, which goes through and can answer a lot of really basic questions about a lot of these topics. So if you ever have questions and you aren't sure, our hotline is the best first place to stop. They'll go through everything. They'll set you up with one of our hotline attorneys, and they will answer a lot of your questions if they're just like fairly general. So that's a great place to start. And we have Robin, who's going to talk next about some public benefits.
Great, let's get started. Okay, so this is a list of public benefits that we cover at Legal Counsel for the Elderly. The first public benefit that I want to get into is interim disability assistance, which is a monthly monetary benefit that DHS, the Department of Human Services, will pay you if you have a pending SSI application. We also do a lot of outreach in the community about Medicare, instructing seniors to sign up at the age of 65. We help seniors to apply for Medicaid and also QMB. I love QMB. It's a great program that will pay your Medicare premiums, Medicare copays, and help with the cost of your medications. So if you're not on QMB, you can reach out to us for assistance to apply, or DHS if you would like to, complete an application. I also love home and community-based services, because if you find that maybe there are chores around the house that you're unable to do, maybe you're having trouble making it to your, doctor's appointments on your own, you can get an aide to come in and help you with chores, checking the mail, answering phones, bathing, dressing, and you can have an aide to help accompany you to your doctor's appointments. So at Legal Counsel for the Elderly, We'll help you apply, connect you to DACL if you're denied, or if they try to reduce the number of hours that you're given under the home and community-based services. We'll help you with the appeals. We also help seniors to receive SNAP benefits. If you're receiving benefits and maybe your benefit is low, we'll help to verify that you're receiving the correct amount. If you are going through a termination or reduction, we will also help to ensure that you get the SNAP benefits that you are entitled to. We also help with utility assistance. LAHEAP is a great program which will help once a year with a payment to your utilities, and they also have emergency assistance along with a monthly reduction on your light, water, and gas bill. So if you're interested in any of these programs, you can contact Legal Counsel for the Elderly, and we're happy to help you apply for these programs. We also help with Social Security benefits. We help with retirement, spousal benefits, SSDI, also known as Social Security Disability Insurance, and SSI, Supplemental Security Income. For retirement benefits, your full retirement age is going to depend on your year of birth. You can take retirement benefits as early as age 62, but remember, if you take it early, they are going to reduce your retirement benefits. If you delay it until age 70, then that will increase your benefits. But again, your full retirement age is going to be based on your date of birth. All right, and then with spousal benefits, Social Security will allow you to get retirement benefits on your spouses or on your divorced spouse on their account. If you're a widow, you can also get retirement benefits on the deceased account as well. Yeah, so I see a question in the chat about Schedule H. Yes, contact Legal Counsel for the Elderly for Schedule H. We help many seniors every year with Schedule H, and we're happy to help with that. With SSDI, you have to work and pay, enough Social Security taxes. So you have to have enough credits to be eligible for SSDI. But if you haven't worked enough, no worries. SSI is a program that if you're 65 or older, you can apply. If you're younger than 65, you will need a disability or blindness in order to qualify, but there are income and resource restrictions. The maximum amount for this year, 2024, is $943 a month. And if you work, that can be reduced. All right, so again, just to summarize, we can help you with initial applications. If you're denied, we can help you appeal. If Social Security is saying that you owe them money because maybe they overpaid you because you work, received a pension, or maybe got an inheritance, we can also help you to resolve the overpayments as well. And the final thing I want to leave you with is, if you'd like to stay on top of your Social Security benefits, I would encourage you to get a My Social Security account. You can go to ssa.gov and sign up for one. You can apply for benefits, see when you're going to reach full retirement age, and more information there at ssa.gov. Ms. Dennis, I believe you have a question.
Thank you so much, Robin, for showcasing that information. I love the benefits like the aid and the utility assistance and some of those benefits as well. And of course, Social Security. I really, think that will help. Everything that's been presented so far is very much important, but a lot of people need, some of those daily assistance needs as well. So I really like that the Legal Counsel also helps folks out with that way as well. So thank you so much for that. we'll hear from Anne. I did have a question that got direct message to me, but there's also, don't forget in the chat, those are Lisa's email, Ty's emails in the chat, and Samora put the legal counsel's phone number also in the chat as well. Anne, you had a question or a comment for Robin?
Yes, Robin, I wanted to ask you one quick question. What is the amount that you can have in your checking and your savings account? How much money if you're on SSI or SSID?
Okay, for SSDI, you don't have to worry about income restrictions. You can have as much as you want. For SSDI, that's the one where you work and you pay it into Social Security. If you are on SSI, which is income-based, you want to make sure you never go over $2,000, because if you go over $2,000, you're not eligible for benefits because you're over resources. So you never want to go over 2,000.
Is that 2,000 a month or 2,000 a year?
Well, at any time. At any time. You never want to have more than $2,000 in your bank account total.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much, Anne. We really appreciate your question. I did get a question in the chat. I think this may be more a Lisa question. Mandy asked, is there an income limit for free will review services?
Okay, yes, so legal counsel for the elderly has an income requirement. And if you call, and that, I'll just say it does change annually, but the best thing to do, because even though we do have a income requirement, there's some other things that the hotline attorney, when you call that number that Samora put in the chat, the attorney who speaks to you might have some other options to go over with you. So it's a very good idea to call legal counsel for the elderly and talk to them about what your needs are and what your income is, and then they can give you information about whether you qualify, and even if you don't, some other alternatives to that.
Yeah, basically call the number and see, because everyone's going to be a little different, right? So calling the number will really help out. So thank you so much for answering that, Lisa. I really appreciate it. So I do see we have 3 hands. Again, I love all the communication and questions you all. Samora, are you presenting something today as well?
So I do have a couple of slides to present, and I think Robin, do you think it's best to do questions or to just go on to the next couple of slides and catch these questions at the end?
We can try to catch them at the end. I think what you do, Samora, is so important. I would like to kind of make it to your presentation, if you agree.
Yeah, so I will present my my portion of the slides in the next couple of minutes, and then we'll stay on and answer any questions that you guys have. I have your names down: Geraldine Smith, Linda Holmes, and Doris Gudger, and
Yes,
we'll try to
just
get
keep
your
your hands
questions
up.
at the end. Okay.
Yeah, just keep your hands up, you all, and then we'll be able to get to you all after hearing Samora's session. We just want to make sure we hear it, of course. That's why I asked. So thank you so much, Samora, and keep your 3 hands up. I'll be able to help you all out after Samora's session.
So we have a portion of our office that does probate and estate planning, and we're not going to be able to cover that today, but again, call our hotline. So a lot of those things that Lisa spoke about, we have somebody else that also does some more in-depth probate and estate planning that they can discuss for those of our clients who aren't homebound. And so I am a part of our self-help office, and our self-help office, the goal of it is that I am able to meet you where you're at. So I am located on the ground in 6 different wards of DC, and I know a lot of us live in some different places, and so this is kind of my schedule every week. Our goal is that you don't necessarily have to come to our office to receive some of our services. So our office is located on E Street in the Chinatown area. And so sometimes that's a little bit difficult to get to and can take quite a bit of time. But for some brief services, I am able to provide those within the community. And so you guys may know where a lot of these places are located. And so I am in those locations. So if you call our hotline, they can set you up with an appointment to meet me in one of these spots. And then we can get some of those services handled. And to give you an idea of some of the things that I do, it's quite a few. This is not an exhaustive list. But I do public benefits checkups just to make sure that you have all of the benefits that you are able to receive. Sometimes we're not receiving food stamps if we're able to. We're not necessarily counting what's included in that. And so I can go through and make sure that those numbers are correct. I help with applications for food stamps, for LAHEAP, for some of these other programs. And then I can do some things like transfer on death deeds, like if you have your home or your property and you don't want it to necessarily go through the probate process that Lisa talked about earlier, I can help figure out ways to navigate that might be a little easier for your heirs when you have them. And then I can also discuss some other things like student loan protection if you're having some credit issues or credit card issues. And so the number of things that I do is pretty broad, and I like to do them meeting you face to face, kind of where you're at. And so if you are mobile and are able to get around DC, even just your neighborhood, chances are I'm not too far away and I'd be able to meet you there and get through some of these issues or problems that you're having, and we'll tackle them together. The biggest thing that I like people to get out of our presentation is that even if this information doesn't necessarily apply to you, most of the people that come to legal counsel for the elderly are actually coming to us from word of mouth. So their neighbor heard about us, their best friend, their mother, sister, cousin, whoever it may be, shared our information, and that's how they came to us. And so we're always hoping that after everything you've heard today, you can share it with some of your family members, and hopefully that will send them our way. We don't want you to have to keep all of this information in your head because it is a lot, but hopefully just our phone number, our emails, whatever it may be, is a good start to help people with their legal issues before they grow too big. So I see that we have those hands still up, and so I want to get to them. Alex, if you want to tell us what order they're in, and we'll try to tackle those questions.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Again, I love the idea of this self-help office. So if you could leave the hotline number on the screen, that would be nice again. In that list. And then, so our seniors, they can take screenshots of the screen on their iPad. So if you could be on this slide for maybe like a minute or two, and then if you could go to the slide with the list of
434,
locations.
go to 434, 21.
Yeah, with the list of locations, you can also put it on the screen, and then they can take a screenshot of that as well on their iPads. So thank you so much. And if you could put your email, Samora, and Robin, if you could put your email in the chat as well. So if their seniors have any specific questions for the topics that you covered, we would also really appreciate that. Thank you. Yep. Thank you for putting the hotline again. First up is Geraldine. So just any general thoughts or questions or comments about anything that has been covered today. But thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Alex. This question is for Robin. Robin, this question has to do with the ex-spouse who's been married more than 10 years and never remarried and is eligible for the ex's Social Security. So are you eligible to get half of their Social Security as well as your own?
No, I wish they would pay both because that would be great, but they pay you the higher amount of either one. So if your benefit amount is higher, then you'll get that. If theirs is higher, then you'll get that, but they won't put them together and pay you both.
Well, how will you find out if theirs is higher? Make an appointment down to the office.
Yeah, you can call Social Security and I'll put the number in the chat.
Okay.
and ask them over the phone, or you can go into your local Social Security office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was my question.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geraldine, so much for your question. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Ms. Holmes. Again, make sure you hit unmute in the middle, but again, any general questions or comments for the LCE group today? Hi, Ms. Holmes, how are you doing today?
Fine, how are you today?
Good, good.
I have several questions, and whoever can answer them, I would be pleased. I just came in. I'm a little late coming on to it because I do work at night and I was trying to get my nap in. So when I came into it, it was talking about a whole lot of good things that I needed questions for. My first question is, I know the lady said you need to keep your bank account under $2,000. So how many bank accounts are you allowed to have? Can you have more than one?
Yes, ma'am. You can have as many bank accounts as you like, as long as when you add up the total amount of the bank accounts, they don't go over 2,000.
So that's all three of them. I mean, well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 different accounts. And at this time, where my accounts are now, they're like between all 4 of them, it's like at, I want to say maybe 25,000.
Sure, and just to be clear, we're talking about SSI. If you receive SSI, they have income and resource limits. So if you're on another benefit like retirement or SSDI, you can have as much saved as you'd like. It's just SSI that has that $2,000 limit.
Okay. And I'm not on the, I'm not yet for SSI, but I have, well, this presentation that you all did, I know he said we can screenshot it. I'm not computer savvy,
Miss Holmes,
so
Miss Holmes, you can review the session. I know you said that you came on a little late. You can review the
yeah.
session on our YouTube channel when it gets uploaded in a couple
Okay.
of days or so. So you can, so yeah, if you have any specific questions, the hotline number is on the screen. You can take a screenshot of that or write it down if you'd like, if you have any specific questions, okay?
Okay, I do have another one. My other question was, can you collect Social Security and your pension?
Yes.
Anyone can answer that.
Yes, you're allowed to collect a pension and Social Security, depending on if the pension work, if it's connected to a job where you didn't work and pay Social Security taxes, the pension may reduce the amount of Social Security benefits you receive. But I always advise clients to go into the Social Security office as soon as you start receiving the pension to report it to Social Security if you are receiving Social Security benefits, because that way you'll avoid an overpayment and they can tell you exactly, how they interact with each other, the pension and your Social Security benefits.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. Really appreciate that. Geraldine, I'm not sure if you had another question, but you still have your hand up. Don't forget to lower your hands, please. Next up is Doris. Then we have Mr. Harold and then Ms. Denise. And then I think that will be it for today. Thank you. All right. Hi, Ms. Doris. How are you? Any questions or general comments for our presenters today?
Yeah. Hi, Alex. How you doing? And how you doing, Simone? I just got a quick question. I called y'all on Friday of last week because I'm having some problems with homeowners insurance company. I'm paying them and they don't want to pay for nothing. Do you think somebody can call me back and let me know how they can help me with that?
Yes, ma'am, of course. And I'm wondering if you feel comfortable putting your contact number in the chat because I can follow up with our hotline manager.
Yes, I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if you send her a direct message, Doris, you can do that. I can also just do an email chain with for that as well. But if you just want to send DM her, her your number, that's okay too.
Okay, you said Simone, right? I'm
Or-
sending it to Simone.
Or to Robin,
Yes.
or some more. Yes,
Yeah.
some more.
Okay.
Yeah, some more of it. Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you, Ms. Doris. Appreciate it. Our last hand for today will be Ms. Denise. How are you doing today? Any general questions or
Hi.
comments for our group?
Yes, I just want to ask a quick question. I'm receiving my husband's Social Security. I'm a widower. Is it a certain amount that I can have in the bank, or I'm not under that guideline?
Yes, luckily that doesn't apply to you. You can have as much as you'd like. It's only SSI that has the resource and the income restriction.
Okay, now one more question I'd like to ask. If I was writing a book, would I have a problem like writing a book and Social Security would want to see how much I'm bringing in or something like that? You know, like when you get money back, you know, from writing a book or somebody buying it, and will I have a problem in that area?
Right. So for retirement, if you are receiving early retirement, that means you're younger than full retirement age, then your income is going to affect your benefits. And since you are receiving, you're receiving the widow's benefits under your spouse's retirement account, if you're younger than full retirement age, then yes, any income you receive would affect your benefits. But depending on your year of birth, if you're full retirement age or older, then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Okay, because I'm 64, so I guess I have to wait till 65 or 66, probably 66 or 67.
Okay.
That I wouldn't run into that problem.
Right, and what you can do is, we talked about before, making a My Social Security account. And once you do that at ssa.gov, they'll let you know what your full retirement age is. You can also look, do a Google search for like your year of birth along with the full retirement age. And then they'll give you what your exact full retirement age is.
Okay. And what about the working part? Say if I wanted to go get a job, would that affect my income, the winter check?
Yeah, as long as you're younger than full retirement age, I believe currently the limit is 1880 for retirement. So if you earn over 1880 a month, then your benefits are going to be reduced. But if you earn less than 1880 a month, then you're allowed to work and receive the widow's benefits and they won't reduce it. It just, again, it depends on your age, and it also depends on how much you're earning.
Oh, okay, got you. All right, well, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that.
Of course, and the last thing I wanted to share with you, if you do decide to start working, I would advise you to report your earnings to Social Security, because again, they can advise you, what the limit is, but also you want to avoid an overpayment because those letters can be a little scary. And they pop up on you.
Right, and you're right. Well, thank y'all so much. I appreciate this.
Okay.
And hopefully y'all can come back on again.
Of course. And Miss Jackson, just one thing. I know you said you were 64. If you were born between the years of 1943 to 1955, then your full retirement age is going to be 66. But depending on your birth, if you're born after that, it's typically 67.
67, yeah. That's what I figured. Yeah. Well, thanks for looking that up. I appreciate it.
Of
Yeah,
course.
y'all have a beautiful, wonderful rest of the week
You
and be
too.
safe. Thank you for listening.
Of course.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you,
We really
Alex.
appreciate your questions. And I know that said it was the last hand. I appreciate that. We did have one more. I think this is a quick question from Dolores in the chat. Do you all help in doing will and trust for seniors or recommend services from a professional company?
Yes, we do help seniors with wills, financial powers of attorney, and healthcare powers of attorney, and transfer on death deeds.
Thank you. I'm assuming just to tell everyone just to call the hotline number because everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different. So that way you can call and get that one-on-one help that you know that each one deserves, that you all provide. So please call the number on your screen if you want more assistance from the LCE. But thank you so much to Ty, to Lisa, to Samora, to Robin. Mr. Thomas, before you left, said great visit from our guest today. Hopefully they'll return at a later date to go into more help for the elderly. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Thomas. And I appreciate you all putting your emails and phone numbers in the chat. Before you go, if you all learned something new today in our session, whether that be from any of our guests or the information, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, if you learned something new today, about the legal counselor services, or you learn about a new kind of document. I know I did with some of those power of attorneys, never heard of some of them before. So I was always pleasantly surprised about the different topics. But the legal counsel, they help with many personal things, with you know, the financial things as well. So they are doing a really great job of just showcasing their different services. So thank you. Wow, we reached 18 hands. I really appreciate that. You all can hit lower. And then thank you so much again to the LCE group. Do you all or any of you have any last comments or any last tips and tricks for the group today before we end? Any thoughts on the session from any of you all?
Well, we appreciate your engagement and how much attention that you paid in the questions and everything. So we thank you all.
We look forward to coming back. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Harold. It was a wonderful, thorough session. We appreciate it. Let's all stay on. Our seniors to stay on to complete a poll to let us know how you felt about today's session. But let's all say goodbye and thank you to Samora, to Robin, to Lisa, and to Ty and the LCE team for coming on to our session today. And hopefully we'll see you all again soon. Thank you so much, LCE, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming.
Appreciate
all the information.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes
Thank
you ever so much.
please come again.
Shit.
Please, please, please. Thank you all so much again for coming on to our session today. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow we have our module on buttons and accessibility features and also DCPL, so make sure you come on for that. And thank you so much for